All right, welcome. It's 3 o'clock on the 13th day of May 2025. This is the meeting of the Board of Uintah County Commission being held in the Commission Chambers in Vernal, Utah. We'll start with a prayer by Brenda McDonald, followed by Gennie Bird with the Pledge of Allegiance. Exactly.
Amen.
Amen.
I
With allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Brenda and Gennie. Appreciate that. Okay. Approval of the warrants, Mr. Wilkins.
Commissioners, I have warrants from May 8th in the amount of $299,099.54. Nothing out of the ordinary, just normal bills this time around.
Okay.
Okay. I would make a motion that we approve the warrants as presented by Clerk-Auditor Mike Wilkins.
Any discussion? Call for a vote?
Aye.
Aye. Any tax matters?
No.
Okay, an election agreement with the cities and districts form approval.
Okay, Commissioners, we've worked with County Attorney on this. We've also sent it to all the cities and the districts. This is basically an agreement to provide election services for them. We'll be mailing out their ballots. We'll be counting the ballots, then providing the canvass reports to their Board of Canvassers. And this is an agreement for each of those entities with an estimated cost provided to them. Everything's gonna be dependent on who actually files between June 1st and 7th or 8th right there. Whether they even have elections, whether they have a primary, whether they don't have a primary. But anyway, we've tried to incorporate that. Loren has reviewed it. Again, we've sent it to the cities, and we're now asking for your approval as to form, and then we will reach out to the cities for individual signatures from each of those.
Do we ever finalize figures once we know?
Yes,
who's
once we
running?
know who's running, if they have a primary, who they're sharing an election with. Like if Ashley Valley Water has one, then it's big part of the county. The cities piggyback on them, share some of the costs. It all depends on who files and what type of election they have. So I'm requesting approval to form, and at which time then we'll push it to each of the cities for final signatures.
Okay, call for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the election agreement as presented by Mike Wilkins.
Any questions or comments? Call for a vote?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Gennie, with the Recreational Trails Program grant contract.
Gennie Bird, Purchasing and Grants. We received a grant award agreement from the Utah Division of Outdoor Recreation. It's for the Recreational Trails Program grant. And we were awarded this in 2024, and it went along with the UORD grant for the Via FERRATA project. The contract is just now coming to us because we have the cultural and environmental clearances that the state required for this contract to be drafted. The contract is for $200,000. The UORG grant contract was a matching grant for $200,000, and then Access Utah match of $241,550. So the total project cost in this contract is $641,550. This is being treated as a pass-through grant, so the county is not contributing any funds to this. This is a contract that we have to get started within 180 days and then completed before the end of the summer next year. So with that, the contract has been sent over. Loren has reviewed it, he's approved it, and it's been sent to Commissioner Larson for electronic signatures. So I am requesting approval of that contract with authorization for electronic signatures.
Okay, call for a motion.
I would make a motion that we approve the Recreational Trails Program Grant Contract as APP-003582 as presented by Gennie Bird.
Any discussion, comments, questions?
Yeah. No county money. Where does the grant money come from?
The Utah Division of Outdoor Rec, so there's a state grant, UORG.
Where do they get their money?
I don't know. That money's already spent, though.
It's what?
We've finished the UORG portion of this project.
Yeah.
And then our match is coming from the nonprofit Access Utah.
I get that part, the nonprofit, that's the 200,000. I just feel like that's probably coming out of a tax somewhere.
I believe it's entrance fees and use fees throughout the state parks, along with Sahara and places like that, Little Sahara and things like that, and the registration fees for the vehicles.
But do we know that?
Nope.
The extent of my knowledge of the funds is that it's just through a competitive grant program that we applied for. So annually, outdoor recreation has several grant programs, and this is one of those that for each project they award up to $200,000. This was last year's numbers, and they allow us to apply for the federal grant that will match that. So this is ongoing funding that they have and ongoing funding opportunities that we apply for. But as far as what makes up that money, I would have to go back to the state and ask them.
Go ahead.
I believe the RTP are federal funds. It's a federal grant, and that's why they required a cultural study and things like that. So, but I don't know exactly where they come from the federal government. It's probably tax dollars from the federal government.
Okay. Anything further?
No, I struggle with the tax dollar issue, anyway.
Okay, call for a vote.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye. Motion passes with one nay.
Thank you.
Okay. Next one, surface lease with American Gilsonite. Skyler, Cargile, and Gregg.
Galecki.
Galecki. I didn't want to butcher your last name, Gregg, I'm sorry. Yes, please, state your name,
Skyler, Cargile.
and you're with American Gilsonite?
Yes, sir.
Correct. Okay.
Commissioners, if I may jump in, I'll jump in, Skyler. This is an easement that we presented last week in work session. American Gilsonite has some property on, some real property that the county owns down in Ignacio. There has not been an easement for them. This is an easement to create that. It gives them the right to use, they have some wells, some other structures there. Gives them the right to access that property. It was brought up just recently that it's approximately 107 acres, and this easement would give them access to that entire property. Although their property does not cover all of it, it gives them access to that property. There are other easements, or we do have a leaseholder there who runs some cattle or some horses there. So there are other users that we have allowed to use that, but this would just record that, memorialize that, an easement with American Gilsonite with that.
Correct.
Correct, Skyler, is there anything else?
No. Vital underground pumps for our operations in Bonanza. Just looking for a grant for this.
Is that microphone on?
Maybe. Maybe I'm just really quiet.
You're really quiet. And I believe most of those properties are fenced. Is that correct? Most of your wells are fenced?
There is a fenced property north of Ignacio Park,
Okay.
and that is where the wells are located.
Okay, you keep saying easement, but this says surface lease. So is it
This is an easement agreement.
on number 5, it calls it a surface lease with American Gilsonite.
Yeah, no, it should be an easement. It is an easement. With them, and the title to it does say easement. That was just a Scribner's error,
Okay.
calling it that.
So noted, thank you.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Commissioner, I'm the one that brought up the concern about the 107 acres. The description on there, Harley sent that to me about 20 minutes ago. That is the full piece. That doesn't describe any certain areas for an easement. So therefore, if you're doing that, you are giving them full access lease to do whatever on the whole piece, the whole 107 acres. Just to clarify.
Okay. Do we need to reevaluate that and actually put the,
Greg, did you want to speak to that?
Sure. May I add to it? Gregg, Galecki. The easement itself, although it's part of, as it's outlined, it's 107 acres, it has very specific prescriptive rights. I mean, prospective uses, and that's for operating our wells, which, you know, we've done since 1958. We've operated that way, and it's just we saw in record keeping that it wasn't, you know, whether documentation was in place or not, that's what occurred, and we just wanted to tighten up that situation. So my understanding is any other use that isn't in the prescribed use of it, we'd have to come back to the council, the commissioners, and have any other use.
I just wanted to point it out because we had that same kind of issue at Western Park where you had Rocky Mountain specify the exact area of the easement that they had. So I just wanted to point it out in case you hadn't caught that.
So what we could do is further just describe where property is located on this, in Ignacio, if you'd like that. There's just quite a few, so we just, and they're all over. Some are north of the river, some are south of the river. Some are fenced in, some are not. So we just included the entire property of, for that, where they have
each and every well is licensed by the water rights division.
Yes, it is.
So do we want to reference that, and that should clarify exactly where they are?
That could.
We could. That's you know, there's 19 different water rights and wells that are down there.
Right.
And so it's quite, and like Mr. Anderson said, it is, the reason there's the whole 107 acres is because of getting access on the south side, but also on the north side, and there's the road that goes around it, you know, for both sides. So, and as the legal description is, then you'd have to, you know, kind of change the parcel worked out well in that you had the whole ease, you know, for the
Right,
whole.
we just include the entire, if I may read just one part of this easement agreement. It does say that the grantees, American Gilsonite, may construct improvements in the easement area that are related to the purpose of this easement upon receipt of prior written consent of the county. So if they were to change it, if they were to do something, they would have to first come to us and receive permission for that. So, commissioners, it's up to you if you want us to describe in particular where those things are located now within this 107 acres, or if just this all 19, all that they have is fine with the 107 acres. And although they do have these things in particular areas, they do use the roads and that to get to these places.
And the public has, you know, continued access of other areas.
Correct.
Right, right,
Like Ignacio Park and such.
right.
And it does specify 4 water wells in the easement?
It specifies, the exact wording for that is, wells, structures, valves, supporting utilities, equipment, which are all things that they have
Correct.
with those wells.
Do we need to make reference to 19 wells, or does that matter? It's just,
And I don't believe
Yeah.
that language is in here, specifically 19. I didn't count them all, I just knew
Yeah.
we
There's a
did go
bunch.
down and look at them, there were a bunch.
okay.
So if you would like that, Commissioner LaFever, we could include that.
I think if we would add the language, this is just my thoughts, if we add the language that water wells as licensed by water rights, that would clarify it without having to list 4 pages of wells with legal descriptions.
So would you like where it says, the legal description of the entire parcel, just with just add to that, including the description for the water wells as
Or
pertain?
As described by the water wells, as filed with the Utah Division of Water Rights.
We can certainly add that.
I think similar to that.
Did
If
you have a
that's-
comment to that?
No. Do you want that as an appendices outlining where those are, or just saying,
I think
As
it'd be a lot
licensed
easier if
to
we
do
have a
so.
question, you can just bring it up on a water well site and it's there,
yep,
instead of add more paperwork.
I'm just looking for the best place to put that, but we can certainly add that language. And so, yeah. If you would just give me that language exactly again that you'd like it, Commissioner Larson, I'll include that. Maybe Ty has
Read
that.
it back.
Just the description of the 19 wells.
good the first time.
I thought I did good the first time. You don't think I
You
can remember
did
that long, do
You did do a
you?
great time. You did well the first time. The description of the 19 wells as,
Licensed by Utah Division of Water Rights.
perfect.
Or authorized by,
It's evidenced by, yeah.
authorized by.
Bunch of attorneys up here.
Not a one. That's how come you're here, sir. This is your language stuff.
No, but I think either of those, any of those would work, so
Yeah.
we can add that. What I'll do is we'll after this, we'll go up and add that language, and then if we can bring it back for a quick signature, and then they can take a copy with them,
If we approve it.
if it is approved.
At which time I'll call for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the surface easement with American Gilsonite for the 19 water wells as licensed and approved by the Uintah Division of Water Rights,
Correction, Utah State
Utah.
Division of Water Well.
Okay, Utah State
Right.
Division of Water Rights.
Any discussion, comments, corrections, thoughts?
Good with that, Loren?
Okay, we'll call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we'll see you after.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Silcox, contract for special entertainment at the fair.
You're not gonna do the cyber center thing? That's number 6.
Oh, Ryan, do you want to go first, or do you want me to take it? I apologize. I got carried away with my pen again. Boy, it's like reading first graders. One mistake.
Okay, Commissioners, this is the second amendment to a MOU that we have with the State Cyber Center. So the State Cyber Center is a division of the state that provides to us a bunch of different programs. This is their 6th project that they've given to us. And this service is being provided at no cost for the project period. The MOU and the patch management service will automatically terminate at the end of that period, April 8th, 2029. So this particular one will last until then. Some of the other projects that the Cyber Center has done will probably be till 2027, and then fingers crossed legislation continues to fund these programs. In a nutshell, we kind of talked about in work session, but in a nutshell, they provide the buying power of more or less the whole state when it comes to counties, cities, special service districts, everything else like that. And so They provide us the buying power of everyone combined, and for this first initial while, the grant covers the entire cost. So there's no cost to us, and the rest of this particular MOU is just basically how it's going to be managed. We have to go to them for just a handful of things, creating new administrator accounts, different things like that. But so this is for presentation, and then if I can have authorization to sign. Normally it'd be Crystal, but she's away in Texas at the time. So if I can have authorization to sign off on that, that would be great.
Okay. Call for motion?
I would make a motion that we approve the Utah Cyber Center SLCGP MOU 002 as presented by Ryan Mattson.
And signature authorization?
And signature authorization for Ryan.
Sign it. Any discussion, comments, questions, concerns?
No.
Okay. Call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, Ms. Silcox, I think I got you.
Melanie Silcox, Western Park. I have the Thursday night contract for the county fair. In August, it would be the 14th. Loren and I have went through this contract. There was a couple of concerns that we had in the work session. Those have been changed as far as what the concerns were. One of them was in the security. It said they would be, what's the word I'm looking for, Loren? I'm like, what the heck was that? Let me turn to this page. It said that we would have security. What?
Wasn't it something like they want professional or something?
Yeah, the term that they used, I have the contract that has been changed now. Anyway, Loren thought that we should change that so that they couldn't say our security wasn't adequate to what they wanted. So it now states that search and rescue will do the security at the fair that night. So that has been changed, and we changed the signatory to John Larson for the chairman, and we did change the ticket sale for the scale. They didn't have the proper cost, what the tickets were going to be, $35 for reserved and $25 for general admission, and that has been changed as well. So I believe
It's been changed to those amounts?
Yes.
Okay.
In this contract. So the total being the $31,000, and that does include a buyout for their meals that is prior to them getting here and after, once they leave our property or arrive to our property.
That's all included in the $31,000?
Yes, the only part of the food that we will purchase that's not is in their green room, and it's pretty simple. There's no alcohol or anything. It's like a case of water, some iced tea, 4 pizzas. It was pretty.
A certain brand of peanut butter with certain bread.
It was
It's
pretty simple
ridiculous.
compared to what we have dealt with in the past. So I would recommend that we approve that for the $31,000, and the backline will come in at a later date that I had talked to you guys on. I'm just waiting for the final contract on that.
And you also have some insurance in case it gets rained out or something like that, is that
Yes,
correct?
I do have insurance. So I talked to Johnny at the work session. You guys thought maybe I should talk to Johnny as far as if he has somebody that he works with. When I talked to him, he said no. He typically recommends going towards the internet. However, he said check with Stephanie at Gallagher. I called her. I've never returned, or she has never returned a phone call back. So I did talk to Johnny about this Vortex company. He says they're a reputable company. He says it is good. The only reason he was thinking I should talk to Stephanie was just to get a comparable to see if we were somewhere in the ballpark. He didn't know if it was out of line, but he didn't feel that it was horrible. I did contact her. I never did hear anything back from her. So I did go ahead with a rider on this one if you guys approve it, which is a time frame. For every hour that you add, it does change the price of your insurance. So I did from 5 o'clock p.m. to 11 o'clock p.m. Each night of the fair. If there's a 1/10 of an inch of rain, and they will pay us out 100% of Thursday night would be $40,000, Friday night would be $20,000, and Saturday night would be $10,000. Those amounts were come up with for an estimate of what those performances are costing us that night. Saturday night is less because this year they are paying us to come out. We're not paying them to come out. So that night is less. So the total for that insurance would be $4,889 for those 3 nights to be a guaranteed payout. The way they decide if we get paid out or not, it's by WeatherWorks Doppler. It's a certified path that says how much rain we get or not. So we don't get to call and say we had, we were rained out. So there's an amount that says, but we got the lowest amount at 1/10 of an inch.
But that $4,000 is included in the 31.
No, but it is inside the concert budget.
Okay.
The insurance is on top of the 31.
So we're just approving the 31, not the,
For the concert, and then the insurance is through Vortex. So it would be a separate, it just goes with the concert, because the concert is what we would be rained out on.
but we don't need to approve that insurance here. It's in your budget.
We still need insurance, or we need to.
You do if you want me to pay for it.
So do we need to approve it for 35,000? Or 2 motions?
2 motions. Okay.
I mean, I can always bring it back. I mean, I guess technically that amount we don't have to bring before the commission. It is part of the fair contract that I am doing, so.
And the only reason for this, we discussed it, is because the entertainer won't, if it rains, we can't get our money back.
Yeah,
That's not considered, something. So you're right, Mel. This would just be for the contract, and that, if that's in your budget, that's below the cost of that. So that's something you could do.
Let's do it in 2 motions. You good with that? You're the dude.
Sure, do it. Call for a
Okay.
motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the contract for special entertainment at the fair for for $31,000 as presented by Melanie Silcox.
Any questions or comments? Call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye. Go for another motion.
I thought Loren said we didn't need another motion.
We agreed we was going to.
Oh,
Just do it.
I make a motion that we approve the $4,000 for
Better make it 5.
entertainment insurance. Go ahead.
Better make it 5, because it's $48.89.
Okay.
$4,899 is the cost of that for the 3
Or a motion to approve the $5,000 for insurance related to the entertainment at the county fair as presented by Melanie Silcox.
Any questions
sorry,
or comments?
just one question. You said that would pay $40,000 for Friday night? If it
Thursday
rains?
night.
For
That's
Thursday,
for the
and then
concert.
20 for Friday and 10 for Saturday?
That's correct.
Okay. And so it's basically for the whole fair entertainment, not just this entertainment?
Yeah. I added those 2 nights just to be on the safe side, since we were adding insurance.
Okay. Thank
Anything
you.
else?
No, thank you.
Call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Anderson?
Certainly. Thank you, Commissioner Larson. I have an ordinance for consideration, ordinance number 05-13-2025-01. What this does is changes the times of the work session from 12 at noon to 10 a.m. The day would stay the same. Everything else is the same other than a change in time for work sessions.
And that would begin June 4th,
June
correct?
4th, correct, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Call for a motion.
I would make a motion that we approve ordinance 05-13-2025-01 as presented by Loren Anderson.
Any discussion, comments?
I will just make the comment, this is largely due to me. I have several boards that I sit on that meet on that day at noon, so I'm not able to attend those board meetings. So this will allow me to be at the work session and attend my board meetings.
Well, in addition, we didn't have a change in turnout by changing it to noon, which is what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything further? Thank you. All right, call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, passes. Okay. Consideration of agreement with Naples City for Justice Court prosecution.
Commissioners, I will handle that. A few weeks ago, Chief Semper with Naples City reached out to me and stated that an agreement that we had with Naples had expired, and he was interested in continuing that agreement. So I took that interlocal agreement and we just changed the dates. We didn't really change anything. The amount stayed the same. But what this is that the county will handle prosecutorial services in the Justice Court for Naples City for citations that the officers write. Like I say, this was, we did have a previous agreement. Everything has remained the same, except for this is for a 5-year term. He wanted something to be a little bit longer so that we wouldn't have to do this every year. So I have this for your consideration. And number 10 is a resolution that sisters with this is just adopting that, adopting this agreement.
Okay, any questions or comments? I will make the comment that the county attorney's office assisted prosecution for Naples with 300, I stand corrected, 226 in 23 and 227 in 24 cases. That was it. According to the court, or the county attorney's office.
Does this involve any money?
It does. It's for $40,000 a year, $20,000 each 6 months. There are particular dates when this money will be due.
Okay. So it is running on a calendar year, so it'll be up in 2030?
2020, the end of 2029.
Oh, 2029?
Yes, it
Okay.
is a calendar though. Yeah, December 31st, 2029.
Okay.
Anything further? Call for a motion?
I'll make, go ahead.
Do we need two motions or can just roll into one?
You gotta do,
We can do just one because the first 9 is for consideration.
Okay.
The resolution is what's gonna do it.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution number 05-13-2025R1 as presented.
Okay, any questions or comments from that point? All right, call for a motion, or a vote.
aye.
Aye. Okay. One other thing, it's come to our attention that rodeo's coming to town, of course, and there are rodeo tickets. However, we also are finding out that there's a couple of different websites. If you go to Vernal Rodeo and put buy tickets, it'll be a purple pass.
Put your microphone, no, put it down. There.
Is that better? Okay. All right, it's come to our attention that Vernal Rodeo tickets are on sale. There's some people that are not selling at value. They're making tons of money on it. If you go to Vernal Rodeo on your internet, click buy tickets, it will go to a company called Purple Pass. That is the official distributor of the tickets. We were told tickets were going for $50. That would be somebody not Purple Pass. As Ms. Silcox said, they are $25 general and $35 for reserve.
No.
The other way around? Oh, sorry, wrong outfit. Anyhow, they're cheaper than $50. I apologize. So make sure you go and you buy them from Purple Pass by going to the website for Vernal Rodeo. Okay. It's time for public comment. Public comment reminders are public comments, a time for the public comment, not public debate. County will listen to the comments made and take them into consideration. The county will not be responding to comments or answering questions. Comments made might not be something the county has power to act on. This is a recorded public meeting. If someone would like to make a comment, they'll need to wait until a microphone is available, and then please come forward. State your name for the record. And if it's a strange name like mine, please spell it for us. Please be respectful, no interrupting. Please wait your turn. A total of 15 minutes will be allocated for public comment. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to make their comment. If we have anybody available at the end of 3 minutes, you'll hear a beep. That'll be your sign enough. Anybody want any comments? Come forward, please. Going once? Going twice? Okay, public comment time is over. Mr. Lefevre, I believe you have a comment.
Adjourned.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much for coming. Please make sure you sign the roster back there if you haven't on your way in.